Earlier today, the Vancouver Canucks uploaded a video onto their YouTube channel. It was a video detailing their whole process in terms of the draft, and it goes over a whole bunch of stats, how many games they've watched this year, how many players they've talked about, how many flights, how many hotels they've had to stay at, all this sort of stuff. And for the most part, this video really brings into light the whole idea that the Canucks have got going on right now of building their own system in the draft. And a lot of the main characters that we would come to expect were featured in this video. We got Jim Benning, we got Linden, then we got the guys like Judd Brackett, Ryan Johnson, and Paul Gallagher. We got all these guys that we would come to expect with Vancouver Canucks drafting. And the video was laid out in such a way that the video's viewers, the audience, all of us out there watching this video could really just get a look into the minds of the scouts. And it was so cool to watch. If you watch this video, you know that this was a really good video, and overall, something that a lot of Vancouver Canucks fans would start to realize upon watching this video is that we actually have a system going here now. And this is the same system that I believe was implemented into the 2017 NHL Entry Draft from last year. It was a complete aberration from what we were used to, and even going back to the most previous draft before 2017, things were extraordinarily different. So I thought I'd take some time out of my day today to talk about the 2016 NHL Entry Draft versus the 2017 Entry Draft for the Vancouver Canucks. This will be very simple. Let's just go over who we got. So in the 2016 NHL Entry Draft, the Vancouver Canucks selected 6 players: Olli Juolevi, William Lockwood, Cole Candela, Jacob Stuchel, Rodrigo Aballs, and Brett McKenzie. Olli Juolevi, of course, being the #1 guy that we selected with our first round pick, a top 5 pick, and a guy who sparks a lot of controversy still to this day. William Lockwood, he was taken in the 3rd round, 64th overall, but he has been held back by injuries. He's a player who a lot of Vancouver Canucks fans are seeing a little bit of potential within. It's just that we don't know how likely he's going to reach that now, ever since, his shoulder came apart. And then going over to the rest of the draft class, Cole Candela in the 5th round, Jacob Stuchel in the 6th, and Rodrigo Aballs and Brett McKenzie 10 picks apart in the 7th round. This is kind of a crapshoot at this point, because Cole Candela, Stuchel, Aballs, and McKenzie are all released. The Vancouver Canucks have already confirmed that they are not signing any of these guys, and they are either going to be re-entering the draft, which I don't even know if it's possible for some of these players, or they're just going to be finding themselves on ECHL, AHL deals, maybe even going over to Europe. These guys aren't NHL future players. And this is what we have to realize. The 2016 NHL Entry Draft was one of the worst in Vancouver Canucks history, considering it's only been 2 years, and we're already saying, yeah, 4 out of 6 of the players, yeah, they're not going to have any NHL future, but the Vancouver Canucks, that's for sure. And the 2 guys that are remaining, William Lockwood and Olli Juolevi. Juolevi, he's an if. At this point, if he makes the team, yes, absolutely, I hope he has a great future, but if he doesn't make the Canucks and he doesn't dominate in whatever team he plays outside of the NHL next season, I really don't know about Juolevi. And William Lockwood, he's as much of a question mark too. We don't know the capabilities that he has going forward because he's been injured so much. The fact is, however, when he was healthy, he was a good player. And he was a player that a lot of people were excited about. People saw an Adam Gaudette-esque appeal to William Lockwood, and the only thing holding him back right now is his health, which is something that nobody has any control over, so all we can do for Lockwood is to sit back and say, I hope you succeed well. So that's the 2016 draft. 6 players taken, 4 of them, yeah, they're out. 1 of them, who knows if he's a bust, because he was supposed to be the best defenseman in that draft class. He's clearly not at this point. And the other one in the 3rd round, we don't know as well. Question mark, injuries everywhere. The 2016 draft was probably the last draft, in my opinion, that we didn't have a formulated system going into. And the implementation of Judd Brackett being promoted into such a high role really changed things up going into the 2017 NHL Entry Draft, which, if we look at today, is absolutely phenomenal. 2 more players taken in this draft, and it doesn't even matter, because from this draft right here, Elias Pettersson, 5th overall, Cole Lind, 33rd overall, Jonah Gadjevich, 55th overall, that was the John Tortorella pick, DiPietro, 64th overall, Rathbone, 95th overall, Gunnarsson and Palmu, Brassard, each rounding out rounds 5, 6, and 7. This is so weird, because if we define the contrast here, the antithesis of this situation, the 2016 draft brought us 4 players who are not going to be in the NHL, and 2 who are question marks. But going over to 2017, Pettersson, yes, he will make the NHL one day. Cole Lind, Gadjevich, DiPietro, they're maybes, but they're players who we have high hopes for. These are all players who, let's face it, they're all going to be under contract by the end of the offseason this year. DiPietro is the only one out of Pettersson, Lind, and Gadjevich that needs to be signed. Jack Rathbone is a player who is giving us a lot of reasons to talk about as well, even though he is playing in the high school leagues and he is tearing things up over there as the defenseman over there for Dexter. But still, he's tearing things up. Going over to Harvard next year, things will provide an incredibly different speculation for Rathbone and his game. But he's not a bust just yet. I mean, he was a 4th round player. How can he be a bust if he was in the 4th round? He's just a guy who we're talking about because he's got reasons to talk about him. Going forward even more, Christopher Gunnarsson was a guy playing in the SHL. He's played in the SHL 2 straight seasons, and incredibly enough, in 56 games played for 2016-17 and 2017-18 in the SHL, 0 points. That's very weird. Honestly, the guy's at like 53 penalty minutes in all of these games, and he's at 0 points. Like, even Chris Tanev gets points. It's incredibly weird how he doesn't have any points whatsoever, considering he played 46 SHL games this year. Now, nobody's going to get Gunnarsson and expect him to become a really good shutdown defenseman at the NHL level. No, you don't expect that out of guys in the 5th round. But at the same time, nobody's going to go and say, Gunnarsson sucks, he doesn't get any points. Well, he's been in the top league in Sweden, playing alongside of guys like Dahlin, Anderson, Pettersson, Bach. He's been in this league. He's been playing with Dahlin and Anderson on their team for the past 2 seasons. So Gunnarsson is a guy who can tango with the best. Of course, not necessarily an NHL player, but a good player nonetheless in the 5th round. Then, going forward even more, Petrus Palmu in the 6th round. I already made a video about him. He just signed with the Canucks. That, along with the exquisitely good season he had with the Liga, is all you need to know about this 5'7", 5'8", 180-pound small player who is an absolute monster on the puck. Palmu, taken into the 6th round, albeit 2 years removed from his draft year, is still a good pickup. And he's a guy that we signed. He's a guy, out of this draft class of 8 players, he was the 4th one to get a contract. And it's been less than a year. That's incredible. And then going over to the 7th round, Matt Brassard, not that many people are expecting a complete NHL future out of him, but as a defenseman, 19 years of age, playing for the Oshawa Generals, he has had a good season this year, 51 points in 67 games played for the Generals in the OHL. So obviously, at 6 feet, 197 pounds, he's a player who, let's face it, he's got a little bit of a good stock for him, especially as a guy taken as late as 188th overall. So, it's been a year removed. Yes, a year removed from the 2017 NHL Entry Draft. Half of these guys are signed already. Pettersson, Lind, Gadjevich, Palmu. DiPietro is on the clock. He will most likely be signed by the end of the next 2 months. So, the 2017 draft, in comparison to the 2016 draft, was a huge step up. We grabbed our systems, we got our guys, we know what we're looking for in players. We're moving away from the norms, and we're moving towards different ways of looking about things. Judd Brackett and his scouting staff are coming in, giving us a new set of values to look for in NHL players. And it was all highlighted in that video the Canucks uploaded to their channel today. In the 2016 NHL Entry Draft, we got 6 players, 4 of them gone. It's only been 2 years, 4 of them are gone. 2 of them are maybes, one of those 2 is a probably but still maybe, and the other one is a let's hope he doesn't get injured anymore kind of maybe. But in 2017, 4 of them already signed. In regards to the other 4, DiPietro most likely going to be signed. Rathbone, he's got a good year at Harvard that will determine his stock for us. Gunnarsson, SHL quality player, 0 points, who knows about him. Matt Brassard, a good season with the Oshawa Generals. So overall, the Vancouver Canucks have established themselves as a team that knows what they're looking for in the draft, and they're not going to take any players because, oh, let's just take a chance on this guy. Nah, they know what they're looking for. And I can't wait to see the results of the 2018 draft. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Plus, you guys like that, gaming, and bye.